also via Skype. Identify with witnessing. Identify with witnessing. There are two words, revolution and rebellion. Revolution is concerned with outer things. Just as we have French Revolution, many other revolutions in the history of a particular country or community, or anything for that matter. Revolution is outer. When you want to change the social structure of the society, cultural or political, it is revolution. French Renaissance, French Revolution of 17th century was a great 1789, to be precise, the French Revolution, the great Renaissance, when the cultural structure of the society changed. This is simple, is the outer structure of the society is changing. All revolutions are concerned with outer things such as economic structure of the society, the political structure, the cultural, or any other thing for that matter. But when it comes to the inner, it is rebellion. It is rebellion is inner. It is concerned with the state of your consciousness. Just check somebody's microphone is on. Rebellion is inner and it is concerned with the state of your consciousness. Your perspective of looking at the circumstances and situations is beginning to undergo a change. That process is known as rebellion. Revolution is political and rebellion is spiritual. And a true rebellion, if it has set in motion in you, it will transform you into divinity. It will transform you into divinity. It reveals your godhood and innerness to you. It reveals your godhood and innerness to you. It makes you aware that you are neither the body nor the mind. You are neither the body nor the mind. You are neither of the two. You are neither the body nor the mind nor the wisdom nor pride nor heart. None of these things you are. You are not the wisdom, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the virtue, you are not the sin, you are not in any relation, nothing. No, not of heart, nor pride, nor heart, nor wisdom, nor anything, nor misery, nor happiness. Neither you are sky, nor earth, nor power, nor wind. You are neither sky, nor earth, nor power, nor wind, nor water, nothing else. You are the eternal happiness, the bliss state. The bliss state or the consciousness, you are nothing else but pure consciousness, that you are only the witness. Only the witness. This is called Chidananda Rupa. Chid means consciousness. First comes the consciousness. Three things come: Sat, Chit, Anand. Sat is truth. If you have not known truth, you are living a life of falsehood. The moment you encounter truth, you are set in motion. Life begins to move in a totally different direction. Consciousness is that your motion, you have experienced something, you have the vehicle has started, it's gaining momentum, you are moving forward. Consciousness is never stationary, is constantly in motion. When you have known truth, you are constantly moving in the direction, then what ultimately happens is bliss. Sat, Chit, Anand. Truth, consciousness and bliss. That is the only harmony. You can give it a very different name, Father, Son and the Holy Spirit. Or Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. That which is truth, that which is truth is eternal, and that which is eternal is beauty. The only beauty, Sat, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Once this is experienced, to realize life becomes a play. The world is fine, a stage on which we come to act our parts. You know, the actor, he acts a particular role in a movie. He is totally into a particular character, but that character that he is performing, it does not affect him in any way. On the screen, during that episode, his screen mother, father or wife dies, but it does not affect him because you know that this is simply a play. When you begin to realize that life is simply a play, you are in a totally different dimension. When misery comes, be a witness to it and do not get identified with it. It is difficult in the beginning, but that becomes a way of your life. When happiness comes, again you witnesses. Sometimes it is cloudy. Witnessing sometimes is cloudy, not clear. Very cloudy, and sometimes it is very shiny. But it is all the same to you, because as far as you are concerned, you remain rooted in your witnessing. You are established in your witnessing, which never changes. The light never changes. It does not matter whether the sun does not make a distinction between whether it is a virtuous man or a sinner, whether it is a rich or a poor, whether it is a tall or short. Sunlight never makes any criteria for that matter. It is shining in its glory. Whosoever is open to the sunlight will feel the warmth and the light. So this witnessing is that it remains totally aloof from everything. It watches, it sends its message to you. When you identify with witnessing, neither pain nor suffering, nor pain or pleasure, happiness or sorrow bothers you anymore. When misery comes, be a witness to it, but do not get identified with it. Happiness comes and again you witness it. Sometimes it is cloudy, very cloudy. Sometimes it is sunny. But it is all the same to you, because as far as you are concerned, you remain rooted in your witnessing, which never changes, just like the sunlight, the moonlight. You remain immovable and unchanging. Life is a flux and everything goes on changing every moment. Everything is in movement. In life, there are no nouns, only verbs. There is only one noun, and that noun is God. Everything else is verb, because nothing else is eternal. Everything is momentary. One moment it is there and next moment it is not. One moment it is there and next moment it is not. That is why it is better to say that is revering, loving instead of river or love. When you witness all, slowly and slowly you are neither happy nor unhappy. And that state when you are neither happy nor unhappy is there. In that state, there is bliss. There is anand. You are neither cold nor hot. And that state is Buddhahood. You are neither man nor woman. And that state is God realization, different faces of the same reality. Different ways of saying the same thing. Neither heat nor cold. Neither happiness nor unhappiness. This is God realization. And remember, even if you have realized God and you are enlightened, the world continues to be the same. Illness will happen to you, the old age will come, the death too. Because now you have a different vision. Everything happens and yet nothing happens to you. Everything happens yet nothing happens to you. I have heard of a Zen master. Once he was asked, before you became enlightened, what you used to say, what you used to do. Before you became enlightened, you used to say that you were miserable. Now that you have become enlightened, what is the state? In what state you are? The master replied, I was miserable before enlightenment and I am miserable after enlightenment too. This will shock anyone. How come that you were, it is accepted, acceptable, known that you were miserable before enlightenment, but after enlightenment you are miserable as well? Try to understand his message. What message he is trying to give it to you? But this puzzled the questionnaire. He said, then what is the difference? The master replied, difference is great. The difference is great. Before I used to get identified with my misery. That's why he gave the answer. Before enlightenment, I used to get identified with my misery. Now, I am aloof. As if it is there. Why do I worry about that? Now I remain aloof, just a witness. Misery comes and goes. Cloud gather and disperse. It has nothing to do with me. Before it used to affect me. Now it does not affect me at all. I am simply a mirror. And I only reflect. If it is sunny, the mirror reflects the sun. When it is cloudy, the mirror reflects the floating clouds in the sky. If it is cloudy, I reflect that too. This answer is tremendously beautiful. This answer is tremendously beautiful. Before enlightenment, I was miserable, and after enlightenment too, I am miserable. Even being God is not a bed of roses. Remember, thorns are always there. But your vision changes. You look at it in a different way. Your attitude is totally different. Certainly your approach is different because you are different. You are on a different plane, a watcher on the hill. And in the valley, the same world continues in its own way. And you remain unaffected. The same master was again asked the same question by another person, and he said the same thing. I was miserable before enlightenment, and I am miserable after enlightenment too. But when he was asked to explain it further, he added something more this time, because Master answers your questioning mind. Always answers your questioning mind and nothing else. He added something more beautiful this time. He replied, before I was miserable for myself. Before I was miserable for myself, now I am miserable for others. I am worried when someone is not on the path, someone is sick, someone is miserable. I am miserable because of your misery. I am vulnerable because of you. This indeed is revolution. To be miserable for oneself is ugly. To be miserable for others is compassion, is beauty, is grace. And this is divine rebellion. Rebellion implies moving from identification to witnessing. Moving from getting lost in things and the world to a point where you are always alert, clear, transparent, unaffected and untouched. You become a lotus leaf in the pond. The water can touch it but cannot affect it. The water can touch it but cannot affect it. You become a lotus leaf in the pond. The water can touch it but cannot affect it. In fact, it cannot even touch it. It can be as close as possible, but the lotus leaf remains utterly untouched. Utterly untouched by it. It remains in the pond and yet beyond it. This transcendence, when the raindrop does not affect the lotus leaf. Does it moisten the leaf? Never. It cannot moisten the leaf. The raindrop or the water just slips out of it. This is the example of one who has attained to innerness. Misery comes, the heat and the cold and suffering, and happiness comes. It does not moisten or touch the very texture of his witnessing in any way. It just vanishes. This effect is transcendence, and transcendence is divine rebellion. Identify with witnessing. Life will begin to move in a totally different dimension. Life will begin to move in a totally different dimension. Only this much for this morning. Take care and do have a pleasant day.